Well, hello again, all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. John and Nelly of George Beer Reviews back at you this morning with another edition of Stout Sunday. And we have got quite the group this morning. We've got Michael Kormaroff from New York. We've got Ronnie S. out in Florida. We got Jeremy Vincent in Arkansas. We've got Joe Pessamato for the first time on Stout Sunday. Where are you from, Joe?
I live in Woburn, Mass. It's about Massachusetts, about 30 minutes north of Boston.
Okay.
Originally from Western Mass, though, but moved here about maybe 6 months ago. So.
Okay. Well, welcome in, Joe.
Thank you.
And we've got Robert the Whiskey Scout from the great state of Kansas. And we've also got Ronald Theriot. He'll be joining us shortly. We can only have 6 on the panel at a time from Louisiana. He's in the basement for now. We'll bring him in shortly. So let's go ahead and get right into this. Michael Kormaroff, what are you drinking this morning?
Okay, this is from a brewery in Missouri called Burr Oak.
Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one.
Called Stout Heart. It's 7.6% alcohol and 60 IBUs.
Okay, 60 IBUs.
And it's funny, as Ronnie, we were discussing before, basically anywhere in the country now, there's a lot of good breweries, and maybe they're going to start getting better distribution. So this is an extra stout ale, is what they're calling it.
All right.
Yeah, I had
now,
that one.
You had that one before, Michael?
Yes, I've had that before. I think Jeremy's had it too.
It's excellent. From what I remember.
Ronnie, yes. What are you drinking this morning?
All right, I got from Bell's Brewery out of Michigan, I believe. The special double cream stout, 6.1% ABV.
It's a pretty good one too.
They don't list the IBUs, and they actually say on the website that they don't. They think that there's a difference between perceived IBUs and real IBUs, so that's why they say they don't do it.
Right. Okay. Now I've never had that one, but I saw it at the store the other day. I might have to check it out depending on how
it was packaged in September 26th, so it's pretty new, less than 2 months.
All right. We just had a new addition. Man. Okay, so we've got Eric Fraunfelter, Massachusetts Beer Reviews, is here as well. We'll get to him. This is, I think, the largest Sunday turnout I've ever had. Okay. So
it's getting big,
go
man.
To Jeremy Vincent. What are you drinking this morning?
Today I'm drinking the Lost 40 S'mores Forest Queen.
Okay.
Yes, 5.3%.
I typed it wrong, but S'mores Queen. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. It's just S'mores. They have the regular Forest Queen every year. You can see that little bunny on there. But anyway, they this year they're going to do that. They did a S'mores special edition one.
Okay.
So
sounds good. All right. What about you, Joe? What are you drinking this morning?
So I have the Old Rasputin Russian Imperial Stout out of North Coast Brewery in Fort Bragg, California. I've actually never had it before. I know it's a popular one. Actually, really just started getting into stouts about 6 months ago, so I'm kind of venturing out, mostly into IPAs, ales. But I'm excited to try this. It gets a 96 on Beer Advocate, 9% alcohol by volume, and 75 IBUs.
Okay. Wow. All righty. I think you'll be. Well, you could probably be pretty impressed with that. That's a really good stout. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. We've got Robert the Whiskey Scout. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking Evil Twin Brewing 90 Days Dry Aged Stout. It's a milk stout brewed with dry aged malt. It's 9% alcohol by volume. And they make the 60 days and the 90 days. I've not had the 60 days, and this will be my first 90 days. So we shall see how it goes.
I've had the 90 days. I didn't even know they made a 60-day one, so I'll have to see if I can find that one.
I haven't tried that one either. It's the only one so far I haven't tried.
All right. So what I'm going to do is bring Ron and Eric in really quick. So y'all just bear with me. I'll be dropping people on and off just so we can get everybody in here, keep things moving. Okay. So let's add Ron and Eric. All right. So Ron, Louisiana Beer Reviews, Woke Stout Reviewer. What are you drinking this morning?
I'm drinking Guinness Farm Extra Stout, and it's been on the market a long time. It's older than the Guinness Draft, which has only been around since 1959. It was developed in '58. But this is the one that you see if you go to Jamaica or the Bahamas or Nigeria or Asia, like East Asia. When people say, "I want a Guinness," this is what they're getting. And it'll probably just be called Guinness over there. These other weaker ones they don't fool with. But it's 7.5% alcohol. It says ale on the bottle as their disclosure. It used to say malt liquor as the disclosure, but they realized they could call it ale and not get in trouble with the beer, the beer police, with the law about the 5%. So
right.
It's very dark, as you can see. There's lacing all around. It's dark brown. Doesn't look black though, but it's dark brown. I got it for $8. Well, I think it was $8.99 for the 4-pack. So you figure $2.25 a bottle. That's a good deal.
Yeah, not bad. All right, you're getting into yours. Let's real quick. I want to make sure we get everybody's beer first. So Eric, you're the only one that hasn't told us what your beer is. What are you drinking this morning?
I don't even have a beer. Oh no, boo! I have an 18-year-old rum. There you go. That's good. There you go. Flor de Caña, 18-year-old rum from Nicaragua.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
Go to the store and get a stout, man.
There is no, I don't have stout in this house. No, I drank it all.
All right. So let me bring. So Eric doesn't have a stout. You got to go back to the basement, man.
I told you I didn't have it.
Okay. So let me bring Michael back in, and Ron, I'll get back to you here shortly. I'm going to bring Jeremy back in as well, and we'll go through, and everybody can go ahead and start talking about their beer. I didn't tell mine yet. I almost forgot myself here. I am drinking one from Athens, Georgia. This is Terrapin Beer Company's. All right, you guys ready for this name? Here we go. Cinnamon Roll Wake and Bake Coffee Oatmeal Imperial Stout. 9.4% alcohol. IBUs aren't listed. It's part of the 2019 Reserve Collection. It's supposed to taste, I guess, like a cinnamon roll. Yeah, freshly baked cinnamon. So it's a breakfast stout, is what they say here. So 9.4%, brewed with Jittery Joe's Coffee, which is a local coffee place here in Georgia. All right, so let's go back to.
Are you doing it by geography?
What's that?
Are you doing it by geography?
No, I'm just trying to do it by the order that I started out in, and y'all,
on the screen.
if I accidentally skip over somebody, y'all just remind me. Like I said, we got a big panel, so I'm doing the best I can here. But I do remember that we started out with Michael, so we'll go back with him, back to him, and he can start breaking down what his Bur Oak Stout.
The lighting is not great, so I don't know if you can tell. It's got a beige head, and it's dark brown in color. Looks like a nice beer from, the aesthetic look of it. Let me give it a nose. The nose is like roasty barley kind of notes with maybe some chocolate or coffee in the background. But the roastedness is the lead smell. Let me give it a taste. The taste follows. Very dark roasted. You can't taste the alcohol at all, which I guess is a good thing. It is 7.6%. You can't taste the bitterness either. It's 60 IBUs, but it's well put together. Medium bodied. Getting some of the chocolate and the coffee as well, but the roasted malts are the descriptor. That's the main taste that I'm getting. Very nice. Very nice. Very tasty beer. I'll mull over it.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. We've got a lot of people in the chat. I'll just, we've got a lot going on, so I'm just posting some stuff here while we're going through everything. We've got craft beer pours, all of the panels in there as well. Trish, all you guys, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Blake TV. Yeah, a lot of people in the chat. All right, so let's go to who was next? Jeremy, I think it was Jeremy. What do you drink? Or go ahead and break down your Lost 40 there.
All right, again, it's a Lost 40 S'mores Queen. They call it the S'mores Queen, so it's kind of play on word. It's totally dark. When I first poured it, had a 2-finger khaki head on it. I'll go ahead and get the smell on this.
All right.
Definitely get the chocolate, marshmallowy. It smells really good. Mainly chocolate on this so far. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and do the taste for now.
All right.
Cheers.
Go for it. Cheers.
Yeah, you definitely get the marshmallowy and the s'mores flavor, the graham cracker type flavor also. It's really good. Very smooth, very full bodied, lightly carbonated. As far as the flavor goes, it's just a great stout. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Getting ready here in a minute.
So Lost 40 is one of those, unfortunately, that is only available in Arkansas, right?
Right. Unfortunately,
One of these days.
It's quite unfortunate.
I'll have to make it happen for you, John.
Well, yeah, we'll work something out.
I'll make it happen.
Sounds like a winner. We'll let you mull over that, I guess. Come back around here in a little bit. We've got to go to Ronnie S. with his bells.
All right. I poured it already. It's pretty dark, I'd say, there. It had a decent head. It went down. I poured it about 2 minutes ago. I think it's got like a chocolatey smell. Like a chocolate cocoa kind of smell. Let's get the taste.
Cheers.
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 Cheers, man.
Cheers. I'd say a medium body. It's not too thick feeling. It's sweet. Pick up the chocolate in it as from the smell, but I think you also kind of get like on the taste, a bit of a coffee as well. See, it's got the lacing coming down there too. It's sweet, but it's not nasty sweet. It's a sweet that you can take.
Okay.
I'd say the main flavors I would say are the coffee and like the cocoa type chocolate. That's about all I got.
It's good.
Okay, we've
It's
got
good.
middle for a ball in the chat.
I said it's sweet, but it's I like that it's not like a nasty, so like a candy type of sweet.
Right. Okay, but definitely more malty, not very bitter on the finish or anything like that.
Nah. No.
Okay.
And like I said, I think I told you guys before, off air, they don't list the IBUs for this on the website. They say that Bell's Brewery doesn't believe in listing IBUs because they think it can be subjective and it can be what it actually is. It's kind of what their reasoning was for it.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people get, bogged down, or they see like, 65, 70 IBUs. They're like, oh man, that's going to be way too bitter. Or,
Right.
if you're not into that, and they don't realize that a lot of times that's not really the case. It's just to balance out, especially with porters and stouts, because they're more malt forward typically with the roasted malt, the caramel notes, the sweet notes, the chocolate. So you have to have those IBUs up elevated to balance it out. Otherwise, it would be cloyingly sweet. So a lot of people just don't understand that. So I understand why Bell's is doing that. They don't want people to, be.
So if it's a high IBU beer, it might not necessarily be very, very bitter, and vice versa.
Exactly. All right. Well, we'll let you keep sipping on that and come back around in a little bit with your rating. We've got to go to Joe Pessamato with his stout.
All right, guys. So just poured this as well about a minute or two ago. About a finger and a head, half for head. Very jet black in appearance. Very dark. Looks like a really good stout, though. Let me give it a smell here. Smelling a lot of chocolate. A little bit of licorice, I think. Toffee as well. Yeah, definitely a little bit of licorice, I would say. I'm going for the taste. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, okay. So it's pretty smooth, a little bitter on the back end. Kind of, you guys were just talking about this. So it's 75 IBU, but I'm definitely tasting a lot of a malt too. So it's not like overly bitter, I don't think. Definitely taste some hops though. Definitely getting a lot of chocolate. I'm getting a lot of toffee as well. It's funny. I was smelling a little bit of licorice, but I don't really taste it too much here. Pretty smooth though. Definitely not sessionable, but it's good. Very good stout. So, cheers.
All right. Cheers.
That is a good one. I mean, that was one of the first stouts I ever had.
Yeah,
And
that's my first
I
time
wasn't
having it.
really a stout drinker until I started watching the Stout Sundays, and then I participated in a few of them. And I think that was one of the first ones that I tried. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, very good.
It's interesting you mentioned licorice. I've actually had Bell's makes a beer, the Kalamazoo Stout, which actually has brewer's licorice in it, and I wasn't getting any of that, any of the aromas or taste of licorice with that beer. It was kind of disappointing. But, so it sounds like you're getting more with that one than the one that they make that actually has licorice in it.
Go figure.
All right, so we'll come back around to you here shortly. We've got to go to Robert, the Whiskey Scout, I believe, right?
Yep.
All right.
Next. All right. Well, the Evil Twin 90 Days, when I first poured it, it gave us a, excuse me, it gave us about a little over an inch head on it, a little over a 1 finger head on it. Developed it was a beige colored head. On the nose, and I've taken notes as I went along, if you can read. I'm starting to do that more and more. It helps me actually. On the nose, I got the typical dry roasted malts we've come to kind of expect, and chocolate and vanilla. Those two notes come across very notable. I don't get none of the milk in the nose that, it's a milk stout. It doesn't come across in the nose. But in the palate, I go to immediately those roasted chocolate. That's almost like a roasted coffee. I got chocolate. I do have the lactose come through. I do get that lactose note. There's vanilla. There's a bittersweet play. There's some sweetness to it, and it kind of counterbalances the bitterness in this. And they kind of work together. And that bitter comes from the dark chocolate coffee note. And there's a light, dark fruitiness. Now, I can't tell you which fruits. I don't know. That's not coming through to my palate. The finish in it is slightly bitter, and it leaves you with that roasted coffee note in it, and it stays with you. That's what I get on it. It's kind of concise, take it to the point. The mouthfeel is the letdown for me on this, because you would think a milk stout, you would expect kind of that sort of silky mouthfeel, especially with the flavors I'm getting, and it's a very dry mouthfeel. Now, I get no note of alcohol in this whatsoever. There's none. I don't personally detect any alcohol in this. This is not even like some of the thicker ones, or more higher ABV ones that give you a 12 or 14 that sometimes drink like a 5% alcohol. This one, I honestly get no alcohol. So,
Wow.
that's where I'm at, and I'll work over the score in my head, and we can go on.
All right. Sounds good. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add Ron and Eric. So I'm going to drop a few people off here, but don't worry, folks. We're going to get back around to everybody. All right. So
Y'all
Eric actually does have a
stout
stout now.
Stout.
So since you didn't have a stout earlier, we'll go ahead and let you say what you've got there.
Been trying to hold on to this one, but it's Stout Sunday. Why not? This is Treehouse Brewing Company. I don't know if I talked about this beer yet on Stout Sunday. I might have, but this one is called Hold On to Sunshine. It's a coffee milk stout at 7.6% alcohol by volume. And they are brewing this with pale and chocolate malts, lactose coffee, cacao, and peanut butter.
All right.
And there it is in the glass. It definitely has the big chocolate and peanut buttery notes. Definitely on the milk chocolate, almost fudgy sort of side of things. Very medium towards the dark roast coffee, maybe more of medium. Just a nice sweet, almost brown sugar molasses in the background. I mean, it smells like a bigger stout, but it doesn't have a really big alcohol note, which you can tell it's going to be a bigger, richer beer. So, cheers.
All right.
Cheers. Go Celtics.
Yes. Wow. Tons of peanut butter initially, followed up by the coffee, roasty, almost smokiness to it. There's a little bit of the smokiness to it, which is very nice. Again, that medium roasted coffee, I'm getting the lactic sweetness. And if you ever had the beers with lactose or any kind of stout, sometimes you get that little souring note as it finishes. I'm getting that. It dries pretty good. Chocolate, peanut butter, the medium roasted coffee is in there, a little bit of vanilla, and some roasty smokiness. For 7.6, it is a thicker feeling mouthfeel, but the alcohol is not very big or present. So it just tastes like you're drinking a good dark milk chocolate drink with coffee and peanut butter. It tastes like dessert, people. Yeah.
Very nice. All right. Well, we will come back around to you in a little bit. Yeah, go ahead and sip on that rum in between there. Nice.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's dangerous. Wow, that's dangerous.
That's a good start to your Sunday morning right there.
And
folks.
coffee.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And coffee. Yeah, can't forget the coffee. Okay. So Ron, let's we'll go to you next with your Guinness 4 and extra stout.
Okay, the first problem. First, I have a complaint.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
I don't know why the Atlanta Falcons had to beat the Saints last Sunday and mess up our season. You know, that wasn't even.
How about LSU?
Well, you know what, Ron? The Saints have a pretty good game today against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're the favorites for sure.
LSU go, Ron.
Yes. All right.
yeah. You got LSU.
All right.
All right.
All right.
And Tulane. You like Tulane, right?
Yeah, but we don't want to talk about what happened yesterday in Philadelphia. But anyway, but I knew it was going to happen. All right. So this Ram Pantalba rum was introduced in 1989.
Oh, here's the rum again.
It was the rum review, isn't it? Oh, it's stout. Oh, I was thinking it was a rum thing. All right. That's you know,
I screwed you up. Uh-oh.
it's like an Ocean Pacific label, though. All right. Anyway, but that's enough.
nice.
Want to play games? I can play games. Let's play games. All right.
Too early for games.
Ron is a game master.
We have a gaming computer. All right. Now, this beer, ale, stout ale, has, I already talked about the color. So the aroma is roasty, as you would imagine. You get a little bit of black cherries. You get cream, like cream and coffee, but it's really malty, like a malt. Like go to Burger King and get the or Rally's or McDonald's or whoever, get the chocolate malt. Oh yeah, and the flavor is heavily roasted, but not burnt. See, that's why a lot of companies fail, because they can't pull it off with doing the dark roasted without being burnt. And we run across this so many times, but this is not burnt. It's close. It's like they went just to the edge and they held back. You get the black cherries. You get just dark malt, dark bread crust. If you want to relate it to something you would eat, something familiar to people. The body's not as heavy as you might believe. It's like medium, and the finish is it's medium dry. It's a very nice product. It's so pleasant, and it's inexpensive considering you say, well, it's not a craft beer. Well, okay, fine. But it still can go toe to toe with any of them anyway. So what difference does it make? It doesn't make any difference to me, especially since their interests don't conflict with my interests. All right.
Right. Yeah. The Guinness, the one you're drinking, Ron, that's actually my favorite Guinness stout. I've had the Bullet Bourbon barrel aged one that David gave me. I've had some of the anniversary one. I've had some of the limited edition ones. I always go back to that 4 and extra stout. If I'm going to drink a Guinness, that's the one I'd want to have.
Ron, do you think
He gave you the bully? What?
do you think the Guinness fans out there who drink the regular Guinness would like that one?
They would like it. They just have to be ready for more intensity in 10 cities. It's just got a richer, fuller flavor. So, a lot of people, if you notice in the beer world, they'll taste something and they'll say, "Oh, it's nasty. It tastes
Too
bad."
strong or something like
Right,
that.
but it's really just richer. It's like
Yeah.
you got to take time. Now, maybe it's no good. I've had a lot of stouts it's not that they're too rich. They just don't taste good. They're just flawed, but this one isn't. And so I think it would be better for them to climb the ladder, like start with the draft, which is 4.2.
Yeah.
Go up to the, they can find the original, which is 5, but you can't really find that in America. And then go to the extra stout at 5.6, and then go to the 4 and extra at 7.5. And if they slowly do that, they'll get acclimated to it. And then they could maybe go to the Antwerpen, which is like Craig's talking about in the comments, which is the 8%. But and then the Bullet, that's
really training somebody to be a stout drinker and really enjoy it.
Like you could do some personal training with just the Guinness family.
Yes, yeah.
I didn't know that
Absolutely.
Guinness had so many like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they got another one coming out of milk stout in a can, but I don't know if I'll ever see it.
Yeah, which is actually, I believe it's already been released in certain
Oh,
areas.
I've had it. Yeah, it's very good. Very good.
It's on their website.
Oh, yeah, right.
That's from their experimental brewery here, I think in Maryland, is that?
Yes.
Baltimore County, Maryland.
Yeah.
Ron, I
now,
think I put it on Alcohol Legs, actually, a review I did of it.
Ooh.
Oh, good. Do that and put the score, please. I've been trying to emphasize for people to put the score, because they'll just say, oh, this beer is something I had yesterday, but I would like to know, well, was it a good beer? B?
Okay.
Was it A? Was it so a C? Just so we can kind of gauge. Now, if it's a video review, that's different, because you can watch the video and then get the.
So what would you say is the most important things to put there? The ABV, IBUs, if they're there in the score.
Yeah, I mean, it's a group, so it's not like a prison, but
Prison.
we want people to be informative. Like when I put the beer photo, and don't put a photo with like dirty food, dirty countertop in the background. That's like
no John Womack.
Huh?
Don't be a John Womack.
See, Eric doesn't really have boundaries that he thinks he shouldn't cross, because if you don't have boundaries, then you cross everything. But anyway, so John, don't even bring them on to that. All right. But no, that is true. Like some people were complaining to me about why these people posting photos that are like disgusting, and it's like an unclean setting. Well, I warned the person privately, or I should say not warn, but advised the person, people don't really want to see that. And of course, he immediately,
Right.
Immediately quit the group and got, titty babied about it. But
Right.
So you want to put the ABV, if you could, when the beer came out, if you can get the information, where it's made, and then give a score, a rating. And the ratings are very simple. So that's it. I don't want to hold up Stout Sunday, but Alcohol Eggs is a good group on Facebook because it's a hub where people can join and get interaction. And
yeah, I like it.
Bad group. We don't tolerate any kind of like badness, So,
Right. All right. Well, I think I'm the only one that hasn't gone yet. And y'all help me out if I forget anybody along the way. Just let me know. It's not intentional. Okay. So I've got the cinnamon roll stout here. I'm not gonna. There's the big long name for all you guys. So the aroma, very, very coffee forward, which is a little unfortunate. I like, I don't mind coffee, but I would like a little bit more of the cinnamon. And let's see what else is in here. Yeah, I guess just the cinnamon, and there's a picture of a pecan on the label too. So I don't know if I'm supposed to be picking up pecan like nutty notes, but I'm not. Coffee with touch of cinnamon in the background, and then I'm just getting the roast, the bready notes from the roasted barley malt. It smells good, but it's very, very coffee forward. So cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Does it have a sticky mouthfeel like a cinnamon roll?
No, not really. It's a medium. It's a medium. I mean, it's getting up there towards a heavier mouthfeel, but it's not syrupy or anything like that. The cinnamon's coming through a little bit more on the palate. It's still very coffee forward, though. So it's not the best balanced stout. If you like coffee stouts, then you'd love this because, like I said, that's really the main thing I'm getting. I'm
Do you not like coffee, John?
What's that?
You're not a coffee drinker?
And I mean, I don't.
Be honest.
Coffee, but I'm not one of those guys that has to wake up and have a cup of coffee every morning.
Like me.
Right,
Ronnie
like Ron.
turned into a duck. What happened?
So
that's just a little thing.
So nice and bready. It is nice and bready and roasty in the middle. I am getting a little bit of dark chocolate as well, but mostly those coffee notes. The finish is somewhat bitter from the coffee, as well as from the hops, I'm sure, but mostly like a coffee bitterness with it. It's enjoyable. I will say that the 9.4% alcohol is masked exceptionally well. I'm not getting any alcohol, any booziness whatsoever with this beer. So I'll keep sipping on it and give everybody a rating here shortly. But I will say that it's good, but it's a lot of coffee. So if you're not into coffee, this may not be for you. Okay. So real quick, what I'm going to do is go over to the chat. And we did have a question from Middle for a little ways up here. I hadn't forgot about you guys in the chat. So he's up in Canada, and he says, not sure about the U.S., but up here, there's often a fine delineation between some stouts versus porter. Anyone on the panel care to discuss? Well, really quickly, without getting too far off topic, I'm actually going to defer to Mr. Ronald Terrio. Ron, if you don't mind, give us a quick breakdown of stout versus porters.
Okay.
If you're okay with that. I'm putting you on the spot.
I'm okay with that. I don't mind being in the spot. Light. Anyway, okay. That's just I can't help that. That's a gift. Anyway, look, a porter is just like a dark ale. Okay, so back in England in the 1830s, whatever, or 1730s even, they had these guys that work at the docks, at the shipyards, and they would deliver, unload the ships and load them. They didn't have, forklifts and all that back then. So they were called porters, portage. That's what they're working with, carrying the loads. They'd be tired, and they wanted to give them something to drink that wouldn't get them, too lit up during lunchtime. So they developed these brown ales called porters. So the porters that worked at the port would drink it. Now later, some people got that bright idea, which I'm glad they got the idea, of making a stout porter, which was what? A stronger, full-bodied porter. And so then you started having porter and stout porter. And then you had Guinness was one of the early ones. And if you look at some old Guinness advertisements from over 100 years ago, Guinness is sold as a porter. Like you can look at the ads from the newspaper, say porter, this wonderful porter, blah, blah, blah. But so a stout is a porter. It's just a stout porter. And then the Russian Imperial Stout is the really super strong stout porter. And, so it goes up the ladder. So that's the simple explanation. And you could have other beers that are stout. Like you can have, in the old days, they used to call strong lagers stout malt liquors, just meaning it's got strength. It's stout. It's got some power to it.
Right.
Huh.
It's interesting too.
What is
like
the thing? A porter is always a stout, but a stout is not always a porter.
No, you got it backwards.
Okay. So a stout is always a porter, but a porter is not always a stout.
Right. It's like if you're from California, you're an American, but every American is not a Californian. So a stout is a type of porter. Just like a blueberry is a type of berry, It's a berry, it's a blueberry, and then you got raspberries and
rum is a
porter's the umbrella, and a stout is just a subdivision,
a subcategory of the porter.
Right. Now, some people will get off onto the roasting parameters and the yeast. Okay, fine. The yeast can be used. There's certain type of yeast that's used for porter, certain type of yeast that's used for stout. But the cut and dry of it is stout is a type of porter. Okay, I mean. And then they have Baltic porters, which is a lager. They use lager yeast and bottom fermented. But that has nothing to do with stouts. Although some of those Baltic porters would be stronger than a so-called stout.
Yeah.
At 4.2. I mean, come on, 4.2, a draft. What's stout about it?
It's not, yeah.
It's dark.
Right.
It's really just a porter. I mean, come on, man.
So stout kind of means that it should be higher alcohol.
That would be your general impression because that's how it started. You had the porters, which would be like 3.8, and they could drink those and not get, be stumbling and getting hurt at work.
Yeah.
Now after work for the nightcap, okay, you don't have to go to work. You need to go to sleep. So they might drink a stout porter, which might be 5.6, 7, whatever. Wouldn't matter.
9.
Then they're off to work. They could stumble home down the alley and in one of those towns in London.
That was a good question because a lot of people, including
A lot
myself,
of people don't know. Hey,
would like
that's
to
what
know.
we're here for on Stout Sunday, to talk about
Porters-
stouts. and the history.
porters
We've
take
got the history
About stuff.
of stuff here.
Porters tend to age better in barrels than your average lager or ale does. So they were able to hang around just a little bit longer. That's another reason, because they didn't have a lot of refrigeration down on the docks at that time. If I remember what I read.
Uh-huh.
That was
Right.
part of it as well.
So it's definitely a working class beer made for the lower classes of people working in England. And back in those days, people would drink alcohol at work, but we're talking about a nominal alcohol level.
Right.
They didn't want them drinking rum. They didn't want them drinking brandy, which is what people drank all day long because you couldn't drink the water, you die.
Mm-hmm.
They want them drinking tea. Of course, the English drink tea all the time.
That-
Or coffee.
Isn't that why we have the popularized kind of beers like the light lagers and the domestic lagers, like the adjunct lagers, because because back in like the 20s or 30s, there were people that were working in mines and they would have lunch breaks. So instead of having a heavier, stouter style of a beer, they had the lower alcohol beers, and they could have one or two during a lunch break and then go back to work and not be inebriated.
Yes.
Wouldn't have been in the 1920s because they had prohibition, you know. But
yeah, not 1920s, right?
Now, from personal experience, watching them paint the barracks over in Germany when I was stationed over there, it was not uncommon during lunch break to watch one of them drink a beer out of his lunch pail at lunchtime. That was not an uncommon thing. It's viewed very differently over in Europe than it is here in America.
Right.
Well, there's guys here who drink beer during lunch too. The construction workers.
Yeah, you're doing it on site.
Especially the ones who are off the books and stuff.
They just stand up there on their scaffolding, open up
okay.
right there, pull out a beer and drink it. And it was accepted, and it was just de jure. It was just how it worked.
Yeah.
Right. Like in Europe, children drinking wine and beer is not considered like some taboo thing. Over there,
right,
the children might drink a low alcohol beer with supper or go to a bar, and they might give the children like a 3.2. And a lot of the alcoholism you have in America comes from like hang-ups, or like they make a mystique out of alcohol. It's a forbidden thing. So, but you have very low alcoholism rates among Jewish people in the world because those children grow up in their culture drinking kosher wine their whole lives. So when their friends on a day off from school say, "Hey, guess what? I got some alcohol I found in my parents' fridge," they're like, "So?"
That is a good point. That's a good point.
The Jewish kids are like, "So we drink that every week. I mean, big whoop, you know." So it kind of feeds that. And Ronnie and I could talk about the drug. You know, the whole drug addiction thing is fed by this forbidden.
The forbidden fruits.
Not that we endorse drug abuse, of course. No, we don't. But there's a lot of cultural problems that exacerbate personal abuse of products. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, thank you, Ron, for getting into that a little bit.
You're welcome.
Before we get too off topic, I want to go back. I'm going to bring Michael Komaroff and Jeremy back in. We still have to go around to everybody and give our ratings here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Let me add Michael and Jeremy back. Okay. All right. So, welcome back in, guys. How was the basement?
Well, I was cleaning up back there.
I hope it wasn't too cold. All right.
A lot of empty beer cans back there. I mean,
empty stouts. Oh.
A lot of empty, beer bottles and stouts.
Stout bottles rolling around.
A lot of them, but I've got half of them cleaned up. So.
All right, so Michael, we got to go back to you with the Burr Oak.
Okay, I have finished it, and my last thought was that the finish was very earthy clean, which is interesting because all stouts don't have that earthy clean feel on the finish, which I thought was another nice thing, which I think raised it up even a little bit more for me. I'm going to give it a 95. So it's
good.
It's on the edge of really being total world class, but it's a solid A.
All right, very nice. 95 out of 100. Okay, good deal. Of course, I'd love to try that, but not anywhere around here. And I know Jeremy liked it as well. I can't remember what Jeremy rated it. As a matter of fact, I think Jeremy brought one on a Stout Sunday one time, if I'm mistaken.
Yep.
It sure did.
Okay.
Archived, but probably.
I was in Missouri at the time, I think.
Yeah.
I picked it up. That's the only place I know where you can buy that one at.
Okay.
I think they're kind of like Lost 40 in Arkansas, where they're only their distribution is just within the state. So,
right. All right. So 95 out of 100. We've got one winner in the books.
I would agree on that one. That's a real good one.
All right. So one down. All right, Jeremy, what are you thinking about your
S'mores Queen? It's very good. I like it a little bit better than the actual just the Forest Queen. It's just really smooth stout. I'm gonna give this one a 94. Could have been a little bit better, but not much. It's close. Just like Michael said, it's close.
Okay. So they actually do have a Lost 40 Forest Queen, and the S'mores Queen is just a
Yes.
a different version of that. Okay.
Right. This year it's a special edition. So
Okay. 94, 95. All right. I'm liking what I'm hearing. So let's go back to Ronnie with his Bell's Special Double Cream. What do you think, Ronnie?
I enjoyed it, but it's not rocking my socks off. So I'm going to give it an 87.
that's about right. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not. It's definitely no Russian Imperial Rasputin stout. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, Bell's makes a lot of good beers, but I find that a lot of their stuff is in like the upper B to A- range. It's not, like you said, it doesn't really blow your socks off. They definitely make great beers, but
Yeah, it's good. It's enjoyable, but I'm not going to give it
almost
like
like Bell's in a lot of ways reminds me of Shiner. They make good stuff, but it seems like they play it safe. Like they could make better beers if they wanted to, but they want to appeal to more people. So they don't take the risk that some of the other breweries do. At least that's what I've experienced with some of their beers, you know?
You could be right. You could be right.
Yeah. I don't know. It's all, I mean.
But 87 is not a bad grade.
No,
it's a good beer. Yeah. But they could have amped it up a little bit. All right. So Jeremy's done with it. Must have been a good beer. It's gone. All right.
It's very good. Very good.
So we've got to go to Joe Pessamato up there in Massachusetts.
Yes, sir. So this is really good, guys. I'm drinking a little bit more. I also get some vanilla taste in there. Definitely some toffee. Still can't really taste the licorice, but it's actually kind of smooth. A little bit hoppy, but yeah, it's a very good stout. I'm gonna give it a very good
95.
Yes, solid 95.
Yeah, I agree on that.
I agree too.
Solid A. Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
Today.
I can definitely see how these can sneak up on you, though.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a sipper.
Yeah.
Alcohol is very well masked in that beer. All right. So some great stouts this morning. We've got to go back to Robert the Whiskey Scout with his Evil Twin. What do you think?
It's not one of the better Evil Twins I've had, but it's still a 92 because it's still an exceptional beer in some ways. The dryness, and I don't think it being a dry aged stout should affect the mouthfeel of it, but it is a very dry beer. Even now, I find myself with my tongue on the roof of my mouth. And if it wasn't for that excessive dryness that I noticed on it, it would get a much higher score. As far as flavor profiles and everything that goes with it, it's good. It's just that mouthfeel and that dryness that keeps it just below that exceptional mark. So I'm going to give it a 92.
All right. Yeah, I like that beer a lot, but it would be in the A- range for me too. It's not as malty as some of the other twin beers. I like more of the malt forward stout. It was lacking a little bit in some of the dark chocolate and didn't really have like any caramel sweetness or anything like that. So that kind of dropped it down for me. And like you said, the finish, it is really dry. The dry age thing is kind of, I think, more gimmicky than anything, but I do remember it having a very dry finish. And yeah,
well, there is a sweetness up front, but it's more like an almost chocolate milk style sweetness, and it fades quickly, and it just leaves you with the bitterness that creates the dryness, I think, and the sensation that I'm getting with it. I mean, that's where I'm at with it. So yeah, I agree with you. And A-,
right.
Exactly, we're thinking the same.
All right. Okay, so Whiskey Scout, let's see. Who is okay, I've got to bring everybody here has given their rating, right? Y'all?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna bring Ron Ontario and Eric back in for their ratings. So let me cycle some people out here. Okay. All right. So Eric, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking this is a good beer. I'm thinking, hold on to Sunshine Coffee Milk Stout, 7.6%, Treehouse Brewing Company. Canned on 9/18. Not so bad. I'm thinking this is a really rich, thicker, stickier kind of a dessert beer. So if that's what you're trying to go for in your particular variety of stout, you will really love this beer. Not for every application, just because of that aspect to the beer, but why a 93 wouldn't be appropriate in my rating. I think it's just a little bit too sweet. Again, it's a little bit too sweet and rich to want it all the time. But if you really love like dark chocolate and fudge and dark roasted coffee and those kind of smokier molasses kind of sugary notes, you're going to really like this beer. It feels like a big stout again, and it feels like it's got a good coffee backbone to it. So like with John Anilli's beer, I think you have to really like coffee in general to really like this beer. So 93, choose this application wisely for this beer. Maybe dessert after a meal. Yeah, 93.
Okay. All right, 93 out of 100. Or for breakfast, instead of just coffee, drink a coffee stout for breakfast.
Drink this with your Belgian waffle.
There you go.
Wait a minute. Yeah.
All right, so man, we have got some good beers today. Y'all are going all out here on Stout Sunday. All right, so and Ron's either eating breakfast or maybe lunch for him now, or mid-morning snack. I don't know.
Head cheese.
Salad.
Salad. All right.
Salad.
So how's that beer? How's that stout pairing with the salad? And what are you thinking about the Guinness Foreign Extra? It's gone. Oh, it's gone. It's not pairing at all. It's gone.
That's how that stout is. Well, I'll give it a 98 out of 100. That's how good it is. Well,
wow.
Hey, it's great. It's a great beer. If like my friend David said yesterday, I went to his house, his new house. It's not a new house, it's new for him. He said, every time I do a beer, I start with the expectation that every beer I drink should be outstanding. And then I start to deduct from the 100. I said, that's a good idea. So I can only deduct 2%, and I'd love to know why I even did that.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like this beer, you could never get tired of it. If you got tired of this beer and said, I've grown bored with Guinness, I can't even understand that. Not Guinness Foreign Extra Stout, no way. I wouldn't even get bored with Guinness Extra Stout. Now I wouldn't drink this every day unless I was trying to put on some weight for like some kind of training.
Training with beer, Jake Ariel.
Beer is very healthy. My grandfather was a surgeon. He recommended people drink beer, but but there's some self-control things. It's like taking medicine. You can take medicine or you can go crazy and it becomes counterproductive.
If you avoid the binge phase, you can drink beer.
Sure. Yes.
Michael's right. A lot of people misinterpret those statements because their idea of drinking beer is binge drinking, funneling, throwing up, passing out. But that's really more like drug abuse. That's sort of like the drug culture, really. And I don't have anything to do with that.
All right.
John,
So
what the last score we are waiting for?
yes. All right.
Don't do drugs.
So
You're mulling over it and trying to decide what to give it.
Make him big.
So the cinnamon roll, I know what I'm going to give it. It's the alcohol is masked exceptionally well, so it's an A beer, okay, but it's super coffee forward. And if you're not if you're not really into coffee, you're not going to like this. I wish it was a little bit more balanced. And for that reason, it's getting an A-. It's getting a 92 out of 100 for me. If it had a little bit more malt character, if the coffee notes were a little bit more subdued, and the cinnamon was coming through a little bit more, it does have cinnamon in it. I mean, it's a cinnamon roll stout, wake and bake stout. So I was hoping for a little bit more cinnamon, a little bit more sweetness. It just wasn't there. The coffee just overrode my palate, which tends to happen with a lot of coffee porters and stouts. Unfortunately, I think CBS, KBS, some of the really higher end stuff like that, I think they do a better job of balancing the coffee with the other flavors in the beer. This one, not so much, but still an excellent beer. I would recommend it, especially if you like coffee. So if you can find Terrapin beers in your area, it's worth a try. Okay.
I have a beer comment.
What's that?
I have a beer comment. This is not
All right.
related to stouts. It's a general beer comment. Anybody who's into sours, and I know John is, now Rodenbach is canning.
Oh,
Rodenbach had only been available in those big bottles and sometimes in the smaller bottles. Now they're canning 16-ounce cans. I saw it in the food co-op of their classic red.
That thing, I love that beer. That's
It
good.
was $2.77, which I think is a steal. It's only 5.2%, so it's not, it's a session beer, but it's again that Flemish red style. And I think if I'm not mistaken, it's 75% of one type of the different things they put together in 75% new, 25% old of the stuff they have in the barrel, which they put together in this Flemish red. And I love Flemish reds. I think they're amazing. So
yeah, I agree.
Now you can get it at a decent price. I can remember in those big bomber bottles paying like $14, $15 for a bottle of the Grand Cru or of the Classic. So now you can get, now the Culver's $2.77. It's going to be a little bit more, I think, outside. Maybe in your area it would be $4 or $3.50, but I think that's a really good deal.
I'm gonna have to keep my eyes open. I ain't seen a Rodenbach.
Just keep your
yeah,
eyes.
the Rodenbach Grand Cru, I think, is one they make, and it is, you'd love it, Robert. And I've only, obviously, that's one that's in the big, it's got the cork and cage, the big bottle, but plus it's like $20 a bottle, but it's good.
Hey, John and Neely, excuse
Never
me.
stopped me.
Right. John and Neely, excuse me. Before y'all get off this, can I tell Robert, the Whiskey Scout, something?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to wrap it up here in a minute, but I was going to go around and ask if anybody had any final comments and all that stuff.
I don't have any final comments, so you could drop me off after this, but except that I appreciate you inviting me. Oh yeah. Robert, Whiskey Scout.
Yes,
I
sir.
did buy a bottle of Bellows straight Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, and I noticed you produced a bottle of that. So if you ever want to do an examination, I'm ready, because I did a solo video. I recorded it.
Let me know. You let me know when it's convenient for you. I'm going to be off all next week. I don't have any plans, so just
Okay.
make a day, and you can give me a day's notice. I will be more than happy to oblige.
Thanksgiving week.
That's the week after. I will be close to you that week. Actually, we'll probably leave. We'll probably be down your direction come Wednesday night. We'll probably take off, I'm guessing.
Okay. Well, we'll try to work it out. It's not like a life, a life goal to review Bellows straight.
It's up to you. It's up to you, Ron. Whenever you want to make time, I have no issue doing it.
I'm going to finish my Ron.
Okay. All right, Ron. All right. Bye, John and Neely. Thanks for inviting me to this hangout on this Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Thanks for joining.
And if you like to talk,
I opened one and cheered.
and you have an extra
Ooh,
bill laying around,
Ron Swanson style. I love it. Oh,
I
you
would
like
like, what is that, about $12 a bottle? Or
hell no.
yeah, that's $100 bill right there.
oh no!
You got my
Oh,
brother a $90 bottle of the 16-year-old for his birthday a couple years ago.
No,
But
it's only 11. That's awful expensive for an 11.
it's worth it though. It is a great
Oh
product.
yeah, I'm a sucker for marketing.
Once in a blue moon. Or if you can't get that one, get the Oban 14, but that's still pretty expensive stuff. Huh?
Is that the one you sent me a sample of, Robert? That I still haven't tried.
I literally bought that. I sent you a 16-year-old.
You a
This is
sample.
going to be a little bit more campfire than the 16-year-old. I got an Oban 14 somewhere stuffed around in here.
It tastes like the bottom of a bog.
No, it don't.
It's good though.
No, it don't.
It's good.
I'll argue that with you till hell freezes.
Eric is volatile. He makes sometimes provocative statements.
Oh, I know.
All right. So, anybody currently on the panel have any final comments or thoughts?
I'm definitely happy with the Russian Imperial Stout Rasputin. Very good. First time having it. So,
John,
Well read. Thank you, John.
John, would you have thought in February when we started doing these that you'd have a full panel with 2 people in the basement?
No, honestly, no. I mean, it was just us for like a month or two before anybody even got interested. Yeah, it's Michael. The time and everything. Michael. We started doing them because on Sunday his wife sleeps in a little bit, so he can go down to the basement and crack open a beer. Yeah, so it is kind of interesting how it became what it is. But I mean, I appreciate all you got. Everybody that joins. I mean, this wouldn't be what it is without you guys. So y'all are awesome, and everybody in the chat as well. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Without the viewers, without the people showing interest in this type of thing, we wouldn't be here right now. So thank you to all of the panel, and thank you to all the viewers. We really appreciate it. All right, so it looks like, Jeremy and Ronnie have stepped aside there in the basement, but I don't think they have any final comments. So we will go ahead and take this thing offline. All right, so thanks again to everybody for joining. Thanks to everybody in the chat. I hope everybody has a great Sunday. Enjoy the football. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. That'll do it, guys, for Stout Sunday. Until next time, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers.
cheers.